So in early 2015, I hit an all-time PR on deadlifts for a little over 500 pounds. And then a little less than a year later, in early 2016, I hit an all-time PR for 615 pounds on deadlifts. So in this video, I want to talk to you guys about what approaches and variation and techniques I used in that year of 2016 to increase my 1 rep max on deadlifts a little over 100 pounds in less than a year. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new. And let's check it out. When I was trying to decide what direction I wanted to take this video, I decided not to focus on form in this video itself because that could be a whole other series. What I want to focus on is programming and strategy for the deadlift and increasing the deadlift. But in these few couple clips you're going to see in the beginning, my setup is consistent every time I deadlift. So what goes through my head when I'm deadlifting is staying tight, keeping my knees out and having some hip mobility, keeping my shins perpendicular with the floor, loading the hamstrings, pulling the slack out of the bar, driving through my feet, tightening my glutes and keeping my head in a neutral position. Those are the things that just subconsciously go through my mind as I set up and pull the weight and drive through that floor. Now I have to admit that one of the biggest factors contributing to the increase in my deadlift over the last year is becoming as efficient at the lift as possible, meaning you're eliminating the factors that are unnecessary to the movement and you're moving as quickly, as efficiently, as effectively as possible, helping you pull more weight over time. So getting into the meat and the potatoes of what you guys probably really want to know, and to give you some background, my old system in 2015 wasn't really even a system at all. I had no strategy going into the deadlift, and I guess you could say I was following a linear approach. So if you had like a 4-week microcycle, week 1 would be like an 8-rep workout, week 2 would be a 5-rep workout, week 3 would be a 3-rep workout, and then week 4 would be a max effort day, which worked for a period of time, but it wasn't until I focused on nonlinear periodization and auto-regulation that I saw really good results. Now, being in the Army and our training changing on such a regular basis, that's why I'm such a huge advocate of nonlinear periodization and auto-regulation. If you haven't done any research or you haven't heard of it yet, make sure you do so. There's a lot of good information online. But my current training deadlift routine is looking like, say there's a 5-week split. Week 1 is a 5x5 at 85%. Week 2 is an 8x4 at 70%. Week 3 might be a 3x3 at 95%. Week 4 might be an AMRAP. So I choose a weight that I want to work with and do it for as many reps as possible, and just using lighter loads, working up to that and warming up. And then week 5 might be a max effort day, working up to my 1 rep max. Now this changes based off how I'm feeling, how my training is going, but I try to max out for a 1 rep max at least once every 5 weeks or so. Since I'm just not focused on powerlifting, and I also like volume and hypertrophy and the bodybuilding aspect, I use this 1 rep max approach for testing to use for percentages on my other lifts and deadlifting workouts throughout the rest of the month. So I'm not just mainly focused on this 1 rep max, even though it has improved dramatically over the last year, but I also like getting a lot of volume in as well, which I've found very helpful for improving my deadlift. This is where I've been making my money with variation. Now variation can be a broad spectrum of things, but what I like to do is after I do my working sets on deadlifts, and I'm deadlifting once a week, that's a frequency, just because that's what works for me. I'm deadlifting once a week, I'm squatting twice a week, I'm benching twice a week. But after I do my main working sets, I'll switch over to conventional. I'm more comfortable pulling sumo, but I can pull conventional as well. So I'll drop down to 70 to 75% for 4 sets, around 8 to 10 reps. And since doing this and incorporating into my deadlift workout every time at the end of it, I've made significant progress. But when I do max out and using a 1 rep max, there's 2 different approaches I've used in the past. The one I've been using more often now is just warming up, throwing weight on the bar slowly, and seeing how far I can get. It's a pretty common approach. A more strategic approach that I've used in the past, and this is when I was still solidifying my form and becoming more efficient to lift, is a 10-5-3-1-1-1 rep scheme. And this is when you really have a projected 1 rep max in mind. So say I wanted to do 400 pounds on this day. I would take 400 pounds and I'd use percentages in a rep scheme based off of those numbers, working up to that. So the first set would be 10 reps, and then 5 reps, and then 3 reps, and 1 rep, 1 rep, 1 rep, and the percentages respectively are 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then 100%, that being your projected 1 rep max of the day. So whichever method you decide to use, I found success with both, and it comes down to personal preference, what you prefer, what you enjoy, and what works best for you. I'm not using the strategic 10-5-3-1-1-1 rep scheme as much anymore because I don't like the structure to it, and I like overreaching on my max effort days. But these last couple clips I want to show you, it just kind of points out that when I deadlift, it's on my back and biceps day. So there's different variation, different exercises I do after deadlifts. Now the deadlift workout itself will take upwards of an hour, and then maybe for the next 45 minutes I'll do some back accessory stuff and bicep work, which helps just build and develop the muscles that incorporate and help you improve on your deadlift itself. So I hope this video helped you guys out. I hope you found some insight in the deadlift. Let me know if you did. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll talk to you in the next video.